Hello, Henry here. I'm just going to do like a quick dev diary update. Give you a little bit more information on Kingdom's Tale and kind of give you an overview of what we're trying to do at the moment. So currently at the moment, this is the, I believe, 6 square kilometer map that we're using as a demo level. When I say demo level, this is what we're going to do is populate this level with a village, a couple of smaller villages, farming area, vineyard, a few mines. There are I believe there's 4 mines scattered about. So we've got a mine here, a mine over there. We have a mine up here. Sorry. So we have a mine over here. And then I believe there was a mine somewhere around there. But we'll get to it and find it. So the idea at the moment, what we're trying to do is to just populate this. I've gone through the terrain and I've already added all the road structures. Now, what's really beneficial about this is if I can select the road system. I don't want to break anything. I'm going to break something. I'm going to default it. So you will see once I reset the landscape material that the landscape underneath is actually very, very high detailed. In fact, you can kind of see here some of the areas where you've got the flow of the terrain. So it's been very beneficial. I've had some very, very high resolution, high detailed terrain, which shows you the road system, how the roads are. All of this stuff from the 1800s in the UK, which is really, really, really going to help us. The idea as well is that we create multiple large open world landscapes and we just basically place them next to each other, merge them together, and we will eventually have a 100 square kilometer game to play. For now, we're going to start small. Currently, I am working on the procedural forest system. So you'll have to ignore the FPS performance at the moment. We haven't really gone through the performance issues yet. I just want to get a basic version in before we start working on the performance issues and polishing. I just want to make sure everything's in. So you'll see also the heads-up display system's currently not working effectively either. That is because Jacob, the co-founder of Silver Snake, is working on a separate project. So when he imports stuff in, sometimes it breaks. So he's just fixing that system up at the moment. But I can actually show you kind of how that system would work, and you can see here, eventually once we get the other system that Mohammed is working on, you'll be able to, for instance, collect all of the sticks on the ground, you'll be able to collect the pine, you'll be able to collect sticks with these, and then we have like cedar trees, you'll have a specific type of bark that you can collect. We're also working on the farming system at the moment. There's mushrooms there as well, what you can collect. So this is the farming system. Again, it's just a field at the moment, just to kind of see if we could get the procedurality working where everything was in a line. So when it comes to working with specific vegetation, it's all going to be lined up, nice and neat, rows like you would see on a farm. And here you can see we've got like the growth stages from right to left. What you can't see is there's a seed on the floor here, and then we get a small version of wheat, then it starts growing into a harvestable full final crop here. And this is a similar system with all vegetation crops, not just this specific one. So what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to go into my project and I'm going to get some images for the UI. Before I do that, I'm actually going to go through the camp. So I'll give you a bit of a demonstration instruction. So the basic way this works, when you first start the game, it's going to be, there's not a lot of towns, there's not a lot of cities, there's not a lot of villages. The idea is to give the player the ability to grow the United Kingdom themselves. So you'll start off in a small camp, and as you go around to other villages, selling stuff, farming, resource gathering, selling wood, mining, you will recruit other villagers to come and move into your campsite. And for instance, you could have a blacksmith. So you say to this blacksmith, hey, we've got a campsite, do you want to come and live with us? We've got these good rates, blah blah blah, whatever you want to do to get them in. If your reputation is good enough, the blacksmith will come along to your campsite and he will pitch up a tent and live with you. Obviously, then you can have this blacksmith tasked with working on weapons, or if you have a mine nearby, you can have him tasked with smelting ore, which can create bars, which you can then put into a wagon and transport to another village where you can sell it. Throughout this process of expanding and growing your village and having more people in who have different experiences, you can then grow into a small town or a hamlet. To start off with, it will be a hamlet. And the idea here is that you now are starting to progress into a small community. So you can unlock the first stage of buildings, and with that you'll be able to build nicer buildings. And then eventually you will start to become a village once you start recruiting more people again, and expanding. It's all about expanding and expanse here. It's about resource gathering, lumberjack, cutting trees down. There's 12 different types of trees that you can cut down, and each tree will give you a different type of wood resource, which will in turn make the shingles on your house or the wood trims on your building have a higher or lower durability. So it also gives it a different aesthetical look. You will see a different kind of aesthetics to it. For example here, what you'll see, if I just close these other windows, here we go. So what you'll also see here, this is our planning board on Miro. Like I said, I want to be 100% transparent, show you what is going on, show you these stages. So we'll start off here with the functionalities. So this is kind of like, this is a hamlet or a farmstead. It's a small kind of city, or a small village, if you will. This is like a next stage of the hamlet, like a larger hamlet where you had a couple, you maybe have like a lord, and then you'll have people who live on the lands. You may have a church, a blacksmith, a mill, these kind of things. And then as it starts to progress, you can see like a next level of development where the church is now, a bigger church. The manor may look different, or it may be gone, and you'll have like more. And as you see it progress, you then start to get into like a town, and eventually into a city. So the functionalities, settlements, we have here the campsites, and we've got the different sizes and scales. So for instance, we've got a hamlet, which you can have a smaller rural settlement with a population of less than 100 people. Now, obviously, this is going to be a lot of people, and we're looking at ways to make this work where we can have a lot of NPCs on the screen at any one time. And we believe we have a few ways of doing this. However, I would substantially change these just for the game. So, for instance, a hamlet would only have 25 people. Once you hit the 25 mark, you can become a large hamlet, and then once you're a large hamlet, you'll have up to 50 people. Which at that point, I would then say you've upgraded your hamlet into a village, and you would have a small village. Once you get to 100, 150 people, you'll expand it into a large village, which gives you new buildings. And then sort of around about the 300 people mark, you can expand that into a town. And you can carry on expanding. We're going to have a vast amount of NPCs that you can have in the world running around. They can breed. The animals can breed. The humans can breed. There's a lot of breeding, and that's how you grow your world. Is by giving them the ability to live in these settlements and do these jobs. A lot of inspiration for this has come from, I think it was called Medieval Dynasty, where you can you can grow villages. But there was a lot that it was lacking. It was very minimal, and it was addictive, but at the same time, where it was so minimal, it lacked a lot of these things. So we're doing the kind of like a research of like what kind of buildings we'll be seeing in each of these. So we've got like residential homes, commercials. So we have like bars, taverns, blacksmiths, medical, because sort of around the 1800s periods, you had a lot of like doctors. I'm not talking about like the long-nosed doctors either. They were just like pediatricians and whatnot. Industrial, so we'll have like food mills, we'll have wood production mills, so we'll have sawmills and builders. Farmers who can do a lot of crop farming. I will go back to some of these in a little bit of time. Right now I'm just going to cut through these. So we've got like vendors. You can sell like jewelry, clothing, weapons, books, food, furniture, decorations. All of these things you can sell. and all of these things you can buy. Anything you can sell, you can buy, and vice versa. Anything you can buy, you can sell. Same for the wood, the entire world. Every tree is going to be interactive. You'll be able to cut it down. Every plant you will be able to use for something. Every mushroom. There is a large list. There's going to be a weather system as well. Now, depending on whether or not we manage to get the full 100 square kilometer mapping, which is a very down the line goal, the idea is that we will have a north and a south, and the Midlands will be like an equator line. So anything north of the equator is going to be snowy, or is going to be a lot more of a colder temperate. Anything south of the equator is going to be a little bit hotter, and then sort of the middle of the equator will be like a nice kind of temperature. So throughout this period, you'll have trees that grow up in the northern hemispheres, or you need to get them in the southern hemispheres, or more towards the equator line. So it does kind of introduce the idea of, okay, so I need to do a lot of traveling if I want to be able to get this wood to make my house look really nice. So while I'm going on this specific topic, I will show you what I mean by that. So we have here, the aim is to have multiple different types of trees and the ability to use different woods in the world, which means if you were to create a dining room, let's say you already have a house and you want to make some furniture, you go through your crafting wheel, you select the furniture, your like dining table, right? Instead of going to your dining table and clicking on it and being like, change the color to red, to pink, to whatever, blah, 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 eventually we will have the ability to paint. I haven't really done a lot of research into the painting of things yet, if I'm being entirely honest with you. But what I have done is I've done a research of what the most common woods are that get used and how they can benefit. So we have balsa and teak. We know that balsa and teak have a stronger kind of durability and the visuals. One's a lighter wood and one's more of like a saturated contrasted wood. So we have different versions of this wood that we can use in the world, which are going to give you two different distinct looks on your dining room table, your dining room set, your bedroom posts, whatever you're creating. Depending on what wood you use, it's going to be a lot of a different look. For instance, if we use an acacia, we're going to have a darker wood, which means that the acacia chair, the acacia dining table, whatever, is going to have a darker tone. You don't need to paint it. By default, it's going to have a natural tone. We have mango here as well. So I'm going to mute to cough. So we have mango here as well. And you can see the kind of wood and the veins that you get from a mango tree. They're all very different, very nice trees. We even have mahogany and walnut. And these are just the deciduous trees as well. If we come over here to the coniferous trees, we have pine trees and we have cedar trees and we have fir trees. So we have a different kind of wood between the firs, the pines and the cedars, which are all coniferous trees. So throughout what you actually get when you travel the world, you're going to have different reasons to go there. This is part of the reason why. We're also going to have seasons as well. So there's going to be a lot of farming involved in this game, which means that certain types of the elements that you're going to be farming are going to be around, certain areas. So if I come back into here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our Confluence, and again, like transparency, I want to have 100% transparency so you can see what we're doing in Confluence and how we're planning the project as well. This is open to the public. You cannot edit it, but you will be able to see what we are doing. And I have forgotten what I was talking about. What was I talking about? This season's farming. Okay, so if we go into the game vision, or we go into the features, one of the features we have here is farming. And under the farming, hopefully I've set it up. There we go. We have the life cycles here. So we have the life cycles of the farming. You've seen these in the game. And these are some of the resources that we've researched already, which are going to be beneficial. So we have warm seasonal grains and cold seasonal grains that you can use in specific types of weather. And we're going to expand on this as well. We want the farming part of it in terms of that to be very, very expansive. We're also going to introduce animal husbandry as well. So you can raise farm animals like chickens or sheep or goats or cows, and we have dairy cows, we have bulls, so they can breed together, and you can raise a cattle of cows and take them to a city or a town and farm and sell them. You don't have to just raise them and keep them. You can slaughter them and use them for food for your own village. There are so many possibilities that you can do with this. It's not very linear. It's expansive. So there's a lot that you can do in terms of farming as well. Hunting is a similar kind of situation. I haven't really put too much on here for the hunting yet. That's because we've been focusing on the mining and some of the other stuff. So you can see here the mining resources. We've done a lot of research into the actual mining resource as well. Now, originally, my mining system was a lot stronger. However, I have now changed the amount of minerals that you can sort of get to these metals, non-metals, and semi-metals. And there will be a lot more expanded to it eventually, but these are the ones that economically are good to mine. These are ones that you can get value from, that you can sell, that you can get money from. Same for the economy here. When it comes to woods, the type of wood that you cut, you can also sell any type of wood, but it will all fall down to the economy and what is a premium wood to sell and what is not really that much of a premium wood to sell. So we have that kind of thing here. We also have soap making and stuff like that. So for instance, once you're using all of your animal oils, you can create your own lye and create your own soap. And you can go to a general store and sell your soap. It's so expensive that you can literally sell soap. Just some of the smaller things that we want to put into the game here. So we have a couple of variations of the UI that we've been working on at the moment. If I can go through here, if I can find it, let me go to the UI. There we go. So you can see some of the UI that we're working on at the moment. Originally, we were going to go for this kind of a look, sort of like beige, and at the time, I didn't see the representation of Red Dead Redemption in this, just so I can say that for clarity's sake, because once I posted this onto Facebook and I was like, check this out, this is our UI, everybody was like, oh, that looks like Red Dead's UI. And I was like, oh, hold on a minute, it looks nothing like Red Dead's UI. So I kind of went through and Red Dead 2 UI. And I tried to look at the images. And to be fair with you, I don't see the complete balance. But I was very, very flattered. And then I went to expand it to be like, okay, so if we look at the Miro, one of the things that worked really well for us was this tonality of, navy blue and beige colors. So I redid and kind of came with this, which is like a navy blue and beige. I removed a lot of the... Originally, I had a lot of bevels and embosses, and I removed that as well. And sort of, I was happy with this. Now, I want a criminal status to be in there because, you can do anything. Scotland Yard was, it was founded in like the 1600s. So it was at a point where people were being arrested, thrown in prison. People were being murdered for spitting at someone in this day and age. A lot of my inspiration for this game comes from Poldark. It's a TV series and a book. My wife made me watch it. No, I made my wife watch it. I'm not going to lie. Because it was very, very fun to watch. And a lot of my inspiration for this time period comes from Poldark. The UI is still something that I'm working on, but this is where we're at with the terms of the UI. So when you see me jump in world and you see the UI at the moment, eventually, if I go back, this is what it will look like when it's actually working correctly. There's a couple of stretch issues at the moment where we're trying to expand things and just get them in. But yeah, this is the progression that we're doing at the moment. I don't know what we have here to show you. However, I do have something awesome that's been going on. So one of the ways that you expand the world is by base building. And I wanted to add as much of this base building as possible, so you could snap buildings together. You could create Georgian townhouses in London. You could create Victorian townhouses. You could create slums, and you could do as much as you want. And we've just got the base building working where you can actually create your prefab, and then you start, hitting it with your hammer, and the pieces start coming together. Obviously, this is just how the system works. You can also change materials. But this is some of the functionalities that we have at the moment. We also have mining functionalities in, but again, I need to work on these because these are stuff that Jacob's working on. But yeah, this is a 20-minute dev diary of kind of where we are with Kingdom's Tale and what the idea of the game is. And There's a link down below for the Patreon if you want to support us. I really do appreciate it. But right now I want to build and grow a community. So if you want to join the Discord and you have questions or if you have ideas, you're more than welcome to join. So thank you, and I will see you again soon. Have a good day. Bye.